Welcome to Epic Stage Journeys and Then Some. And now, here's your host, Gavin.
What's up, everybody? Keith, I know
Hey,
you know that voice, don't you?
yeah, good old Bob.
He was, he was, you know, shout out to Bob Walker. He was kind enough to make those for me. I just asked him out of the blue one day. I said, "Hey, would you mind doing an intro and outro?" He goes, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And I said, "What are you going to charge me?" He goes, "I want a hat." I said, "Okay, I'll send you a hat." So
Nice.
everybody comes on and gets a hat. So
Sweet.
you'll get a hat eventually. Text me your mailing address. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have not really officially introduced my friend yet. This is Mr. Keith Knight. Keith and I were coworkers, we're friends. He's also the bass player in a band called Aska. And Aska's been around. Well, when did Aska start actually, Keith?
Uh, well, the first album came out in '92, but I was
Mhm.
joined the band in early '90, I guess it was.
But you said you played on all the albums, right?
Right.
How many of
We're
them are there now? Is there
there's
seven?
7 of them, yeah.
There's seven. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought I saw seven, but I wasn't. I wasn't sure, so I wanted to double check, make sure. So, man, you're rocker. You're doing corporate gigs. You're just busy all the time.
I am. I try to stay busy.
Hey, that's all you can do. How are the kids?
Kids are good, you know.
Good.
They're grown now, so
Are they? Are
yeah,
they grown and gone?
yeah, pretty much.
Oh wow. Yeah, man. Time
So
flies by.
it does. It
It,
does.
it's
Seems like
it's
they were
nuts.
little just last week.
I know. I just talked to Amy Bradshaw. She was on with me last week, and her daughter was with her, and she's four now, and she's tall. I'm like, my God, getting old. Getting old thing sucks.
Yeah. And it seems to be faster.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Yeah.
lot faster. Trust me, man. It just keeps blowing by. I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
So, what were you doing? What show were you doing?
Let's see, when?
Yeah.
Last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was now, was AKA, that big monster.
Oh, you got
And
on
that's
AKA.
and that's the small one of the two. The big one's next year in Vegas.
Okay.
So,
So,
but it's basically the same stage up to
mhm.
front of house is exactly the same, but everything behind it's where it changes, less delays and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Where was it this year?
Anaheim. So
Okay, cool.
it's funny, I've never worked in Anaheim until last 2 weeks ago.
Were you on the convention center?
Yeah.
How about that convention center?
It's old.
It is. It's very old.
It's pretty old.
Yeah,
The workforce there is pretty good.
yeah, that's great people out there. Yeah,
A lot of
I used,
a lot of movie and television people out there right now, working in the AV side due to the slowdown of Hollywood.
yeah, yeah.
So
I've heard that a lot. The slowdown with Hollywood, but yeah, I was out there at Anaheim every year doing NAM, so we were in and out of the convention center, and we did D23 out there, and right. But yeah, I know that convention center well, and it's old.
yeah,
I keep hearing they were going to build a new one, but I don't think they've started or they
they
added to it or something.
they don't have the money, I don't think. You know.
I think it's kind of running down a little bit. Seems
Yeah,
like
they definitely need to retrofit it if anything. The you can always tell the age of a place because the lobby looks good, but you get to the bathrooms and you're like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
1970s.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so I there was a thing my wife and I go to every year up at the convention center in Fort Worth, and they've moved it to Dallas because the Fort Worth Convention Center is under construction now. And I
Well,
thought,
just that one side of it. I mean, most of it's open. Actually,
yeah,
it's all open except for the loading dock.
apparently they decided they were going to Dallas, and I thought Kay Bailey was doing some construction over there too.
They have started. They started July 5th, and they've closed it off from the Sky Bridge. So is that basically D
Okay, yeah,
on?
on that side over there.
Yeah. So all D and F is now closed off, and
And I
they're
hear
they're
that
tearing it up.
Austin doesn't have one at all anymore, so it's
No,
gone.
they totally torn it. They're tearing that thing completely down.
Yeah, I hear they're digging a hole. They're gonna go
Yeah,
dig a
they're
hole.
going deep because
Yeah, they're gonna go deep, come out. So,
they're keeping that same land and just going deep and tall.
wow.
Well, they can't go too tall. There's some kind of city ordinance, so they can't go over a certain height. But as I'm told,
I, I can't. I was thinking last time I was there in at the convention center in Austin was I forget what the name of that thing was, Coin Desk or something.
oh,
Oh,
CoinDesk, yeah.
God. Were you out there for that?
And I was just before it,
Were
and a
you
bunch of
okay?
my gear had to flow to it.
God, that was an ass beating in itself.
I
Jeez.
heard. I
Oh,
heard.
oh, I got sick. I got sick. Well, I was in New Orleans doing something and I got an upper respiratory infection. I came home from New Orleans. I spent the night, got on the train the next morning, went down to Austin to do CoinDesk. And by the time I got back, my wife took me to the emergency clinic and I had COVID. They tested me and I had COVID. I went, damn
Oh,
it. So, I had to do the whole thing, go back, tell everybody, say, hey, I've had COVID, go get checked and all that stuff. But I think everybody else turned out okay. But that
mm,
that event blew. Oh my God. So
yeah.
I was told to ask you
Ruh-roh.
when you guys were no, it's not one of those, but um did you guys ever play the basement or
Oh
DCL?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
we played them all and pretty much closed them all.
so you probably knew we all probably had the same friends. So you knew Hobie Dacus then,
Yeah, yeah.
the audio guy. Did you know
Yep.
Dale Bridges, one of the lighting guys?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
That rings a bell.
I was talking to him yesterday. I talk to him all the time still. And I told him, he goes, "Who you got on?" I said, "Well, Keith Knight." And I said, "Bass player from Aska." And he goes, "Oh, dude, you got to ask him if they've been to the basement, if they've been to DCL, if they've been to all these places." And I said, "Okay." And he's probably going to know who we are. And I knew when I mentioned Hobie, everybody knows Hobie. Everybody knew
Yeah,
Hobie out
yeah,
there. So, and a friend of mine used to have a band called the Hindenburg. It was this Zeppelin tribute band, and he was the
yeah.
drummer. And
Okay.
he played. He remember he. I remember because he pissed Hobie off one time because Leo was the drummer and he mic'd his drums just exactly the way that Bonham did. He did not have a hole cut in his in front kick drum head, so they had to put the mic sideways against the head. And Hobie was not having any part of it. They argued about that and argued about it and argued about it. And finally, he gave in and did it. And then he went back and he told Leo, he goes, "Dude, I can't believe it. It sounded that good." He said, "I told you." And he goes, "We fought about that for hours about that." And I said, "Well, that was Hobie. He liked to do that." So,
Yeah, he definitely had that golden ear, you know.
oh yeah,
Uh,
Hobie was
it was
great.
great. That's
He,
why he
he
ended up on the road with I think it was what, either Brad Paisley or one of those country stars. He
yeah,
went
he
in
went out
there.
with somebody, and now that he's gone, God
Yeah.
bless him. He's man, what a just a crappy week. I mean, come on, man.
Right. Yeah.
Malcolm Jamal Warner, we lost Ozzy, we lost Hulk, and then I saw that who was the other one?
Chuck Mangione.
Chuck Mangione. I saw that too, and I was like, damn.
Yeah. And there's some, I don't know. I saw a picture of like somebody AI'd them all together, and there was some chick too. I didn't see who that was, but
Yeah, there was
yeah.
some lady, I don't remember who that was, but and the Ozzy thing, that was man,
Crazy because of how recent it was that he just got on stage. You know.
I know they did that. They did the concert, and then he's gone. Just almost just like right 2 weeks later. I was like,
Yeah.
well, crap, that was. But the cool thing about it, though, I will say this is that he got to do what he got to do what he loved for the last time, and I'll
Right.
give him that. And
I
you know
I
what? Go ahead.
I think he held out. You know, held out just to get that concert done. You know,
Yeah, but
and then just kind of
he sounded good too.
yeah, he
I
did.
mean,
He
he was
sounded pretty good.
singing. I thought, oh, he's going to sing, and I don't know, man, he's really sounded good. So
Yeah.
I'll give him that. But that
Um,
was just sad.
Kelly, his daughter, released a video basically the day or two before he passed away, and he seemed good. He was just sitting there at his computer, headphones on, and it was crazy. I heard it was a blood clot. I don't know how true it is, but you know how the internet likes to tell stories. But
No, I know you can't believe anything you read on the internet. Shit.
but if it was a blood clot, it makes sense.
Yeah, it would. I'm waiting for mine.
So
I got those too. Those- So Aska, man, you guys. I remember when you went to Rocklahoma
right,
because we were working together at that time, and you were checking out because you said you were going to go to Oklahoma and do Rocklahoma.
right,
But you guys have been to all kinds. You guys have been to 37 countries.
yeah,
And
yeah,
now was that when you guys were doing stuff for the military, or
yeah, yeah.
was
We
it?
were We did. We contracted for DoD, USO, and they just shipped us around, and we just traveled and traveled and traveled. Uh, Probably seen more bases than most generals. To tell you the truth. It's crazy. I mean, we've even seen some remote places where we played to like 6 people in Iceland, or maybe it was like
Really?
10. Yeah, I mean, they put us in some crazy spots. We lugged all our own gear and heavy ass stuff. And it was so it takes us at least an hour to set up every time, and minimum maybe an hour and a half. I don't remember, but I think we had it down to an hour when everybody was pitching in like they were supposed to. But yeah, it was crazy. We'd go in there and play for an hour and a half or whatever. I think we did an acoustic set one night because the group, the people were so small, and kind of, I don't know. I don't even remember what that was for, to tell you the truth, but I think it was like military kids or something to that effect. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean, that's pretty wild. I was reading about that. I mean, you guys went all over the place playing for
yeah.
these guys, and so what was so did you guys get a good response from
Oh
doing that?
yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, we still have fans to this day from those tours.
Oh, cool.
That we've made friends with, and people,
Mhm.
just, oh my God, I saw you guys in this location, or I saw you
Really?
guys here. Yeah.
Well,
So
that's
it's
cool. People
yeah.
remember you from back around those places too. But
So
you guys had a few. You had you guys had kind of you had different. You had quite a few members, didn't you?
yeah, we've had a few changes over the years. We've changed out drummers. We've gone back and forth on one or two drummers, and then we've had the same drummer, I think, 18 years or so. And then now these days we've had different guitarists, our secondary guitarist. Um, well, actually, more like our primary guitarist because my singer is also the other guitarist. So, yeah, we've been fighting that battle. Our newest guitarist, Eric, out of Houston, which gives us, he's also in like 4 or 5 tribute bands or something like that, and makes it hard for us to practice and rehearse. And
What
so we're having to do that.
we had a discussion. I don't know who I was talking to. We had a discussion about tribute bands.
Yeah.
What's your take on the tribute bands?
Not very nice.
Okay, all right.
I,
And if
I'm,
you want to
I'm
leave it there,
Yeah, no, it's. I guess it's good for what it is. The good ones, the really good ones. There's a
Mhm.
few around this town that actually draw a crowd and are really good at what they do. But then you got a lot of really bad ones, and don't they don't even fill up a quarter of a club. So it's like, okay, now you're just tanking the whole scene with that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
I've seen both. I've seen a friend of ours. She had a fundraiser out at the ballpark here, and she had a bunch of the tribute bands, and she had the Motley Crue one, and I think one was Heart, and one was now the Heart one. Those girls, they were pretty. Those girls were pretty good. I
Right.
said, wow, they
Yeah,
were,
I've seen videos of them. I know who you're talking
and
about.
and they had Back in Black, which was of course the AC/DC tribute band, and then they had the one that was oh, I don't remember who's got the one armed drummer.
Oh, Def Leppard.
Yeah, Def
Yeah.
Leppard. That was
Yeah, I'm friends with most of those guys. They're really good. Um, they're one of the ones I was talking about that's on the good side. Um, I'd rather see a lot of these bands become cover bands instead of one. Because I mean, if you don't do one band very good, why
yeah.
do that? Just do a bunch of bands.
Yeah,
Do a
just do a
genre.
bunch of them. Yeah, do it. Yeah, definitely do a genre of them because I think that the the problem was with her not, and don't get me wrong. Well, they had I think there was a Van Halen one there too, if I remember right. But what they did was at the end of the night they put the Motley Crue band next to last, and then they put Def Leppard last, the Def Leppard covered band last, and that didn't go over very well.
Ah,
And not to take anything away from the guys in the band because they were great, but man, the Motley Crue guys, the cover guys, I mean, they just annihilated. And I think I sent you some pictures of that because he's the guy, the bass player had the he was shooting fire out of his bass.
oh yeah.
And I took a picture of that, and I think I sent that to you. And I said, "You need one of these for your bass," and he was wearing it out. But I mean, the crowd was just going insane. And then as soon as they finished, a lot of people just left.
Wow.
uh,
That's
before before Def Leppard got up and played, and I thought, you guys are missing out. But
That's kind of strange because they're basically mimicking that Motley Crue Def Leppard tour they did a couple summers ago.
yeah, it seemed like it. But it was fun. I mean, I had a good time. But it's just it's how you line them up. I guess is really going to kind of depend on a lot of stuff. It was pretty interesting. But I've seen some tribute bands that have like, you guys don't need to do this. Don't go do something else. Like you said, play just play all kind of cover tunes. Don't just
Right.
just pick one genre because it wouldn't work and
Well,
didn't.
it's really starting to saturate the scene and it's starting to kill it. A lot of the clubs are going under again.
It
Um,
is.
so I'd like to see, mixes of these tribute bands, cover bands, and original bands. Because if I go out to go see bands, I want to see originals. I don't want to see covers that much.
Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt.
A lot of people, I know a lot of people do like to see covers because they know the songs that way, but I like to hear new music all
Yeah,
the time. So,
that's the kind of way I was. I didn't really care about the tribute band. I like to see the bands that and like I said, I haven't been out in years, but back in the day when you know we'd go see Hellified or Big Iron be playing, or
right.
we'd be bouncing around doing this and doing that. And I don't. I just for some weird reason I can't understand how I never saw you guys. Were you guys gone a lot, or did you guys play
Yeah,
in Dallas a lot, or were you
yeah,
just
we
gone?
did. Yeah. Here and there when we were home, we'd always play a homecoming show. And then after we stopped doing the tours in early 2001, we played a lot of local. And then we did some festivals throughout the states and overseas. And yeah, we got to a point where the touring of the military just kind of got old, and we wanted to do more things on our own, and so we did. And yeah, we just uh, basically, kind of doing things for ourselves instead of for the military. Which
Yeah. So you guys I'm guessing you guys still playing around locally in the area?
yeah, our next show we're doing something with Lillian Axe, if you remember those guys.
You know what? I did see that. I apologize. I did see that. You guys were playing with Little Axe.
It's a Sunday night. They're doing a little Texas tour, um, and I think it was like none of the clubs wanted to bring us into it, so we would have done the tour with them probably if everybody was open. That's another problem with have everybody with different bands and hard,
Yep, because
vacant schedules basically.
yeah, because I was reading
I
that
travel a lot.
y'all's lead singer, he sings with a couple other different groups too. Or
He
he
used to.
did.
Now he's just doing like a local cover band,
Is he?
70s covers kind of stuff.
Okay.
Actually, they're playing this Saturday, um, in Cleburne, and I'm running sound for them. So,
Where?
what's it called? The old brew house or the old? Oh, it's in Old Town, something brewery.
Oh, that's Burleson.
Burleson. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you guys at Hotel, yeah, an Hotel Burleson. That's the Texas
Yeah,
the
Texas.
Texas Draft
Brew.
House
Yeah,
or
Texas.
brewery.
Something like that.
Eh,
Yeah.
Cool place. Yeah,
Yeah, I did it last time. It's just the steps are killer, loading that PA in and
yeah,
out.
that is. Yeah, I've got some friends that play that, and they take as small a system as they can get away with, and when they play over there.
All right.
So what's the name of the band that your singer's in?
Fabulous Freak Brothers. Yeah.
Check that out. Not that I can get anywhere. I'd like to go somewhere, but I just have not been out
Yeah.
anywhere in a
Especially
while.
there. Those steps, man. I tell you, it's
Yeah.
that's that just because I bought a PA and now I'm running sound for bands live, and that place is the toughest place to get in and out of because of all the steps.
I bet.
So
So now
especially in the summer.
with the production that now you have your own production company,
I call it
right?
that, but
Startup.
I run everything through my Keith Knight Productions.
Okay.
I got the studio, which is night recording, um, and then the live stuff, night recording. live sound as well, and so I'm trying to stay busy, get out of the house
Yeah, I don't blame you.
when I'm not on the road or working somewhere for AV.
You know, that was the one thing I'll have to tell you this. I miss it to the point to where I miss the people
Hmm.
and I miss my clients and stuff, but I don't miss the travel. That was the one thing that when I stopped traveling and I finally calmed down because I mean, I'm sure you just like everybody, we were all kind of like fish out of water for a while when all this happened, when they laid everybody off.
Oh yeah.
And then, and you're sitting around going, what the hell do I do? What do I do? And so then when they came back at us and they all made us contract laborers, then got back out and traveling. I thought, okay, this is better, but it was never the same though. It was horrible. It just, and after a while, when I finally decided I was going to have to wrap it up, I did say that was the one thing I wasn't going to miss was just traveling at all.
Oh really? See, I'd prefer to travel than to play locally or work
I
locally. Just because I don't like driving an hour, because I'm not that close to anything really. Like, I'm kind of close to the Fort Worth Convention Center, but the traffic doesn't make me close in time.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no,
the
I
traffic.
agree with you there.
I-35 is just a beating.
Yeah, my buddy Dale, that lighting guy, he does all local stuff now, but he's cut a deal with a couple of hotels that if he's in Dallas, he's got a hotel there. They cut him a deal, and he stays there, or in Fort Worth, same way. So he does because he lives out kind of towards Tyler, and
Oh wow, he's really out of town.
yeah,
But
he's kind of
then he's not
he's out.
considered local. I would think not. You know.
No, but he's out there, but he got all that straightened out. And so when he's in town, matter of fact, he's in town doing the show. I think that he's over at what used to be Gillies over there,
Oh
which
okay,
is
South Side. Yeah.
yeah, South Side, and he's doing I think he said the Fray's there tonight. And I said the Fray.
Oh
I said
really?
I haven't heard that name in a long time,
Right.
but he said yeah, they're playing there tonight. So he goes, they're coming in with 5 trucks, and I went, where are they
What?
going to put it? Where are they going to put 5 trucks crap in that room? He goes,
Yeah. Right.
well, he said they've got their own. They put a brand new VDOS system in there. He says they don't need any audio.
Yeah.
He
So a
said
couple of those
probably
trucks are just parked.
yeah. He said, and they may have one full of merch or something. He said, but he goes, we probably won't even unload most of them.
Right.
He said they've got a lot of props and stuff, but other than that, I didn't wouldn't be.
Even that won't probably fit on that stage. It's not a
Yeah,
big stage.
not a. I didn't think it was. I haven't been in
Um,
there in forever.
I did a corporate gig there once. It was kind of weird. They almost wanted to hire me to run sound in there, but I was like, nah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's quite a few people I know that from different areas that are, working full time now. Like my buddy Dale, he does that one. He does, um, just got hired. He's going up to, going up to Grapevine, or is he going to, I can't remember if it's Granbury or Grapevine, but they've got some theaters up there that are redoing, and they're bringing him in to redo all the lighting for them. So
mm.
he gets to do all that stuff. And so
I
he's
know there's
staying,
I know there's a pretty big theater in Granbury,
yeah,
so I don't know if it needs redoing or not, but
but he's redoing some theaters and so he's got enough working local that he doesn't, he's getting ready because he does the fair every year, so he's getting
oh
ready for that, and he makes killing at the fair. And I'm like, shit, he makes enough money just almost for the whole entire year at the fair.
wow,
He's there from, I think he's out there like a couple weeks before and maybe a couple weeks after, and they work that thing.
that thing is just crazy.
Oh, it's nuts. I
That's
did
like
it
a
one.
that's like a heat stroke waiting to happen.
I did it with my buddy who was doing it. I got called out, and I want to say that it was my buddy Sonny Satterfield doing something. I think we were in a Ford booth in the Ford area, and we were hanging lights. And
Oh, so
we
you were inside.
no, we were outside.
Oh,
We were on the outside part of it, and it was so damn hot. We were up in a lift, in a scissor lift, and we were way up there. I kept telling my spotter, I said, um, keep an eye on the ground guy because he's watching us because we were rolling right up to the truss. And I don't know what he did. He sitting there picking his nose or something, and we hear this thunk, and I stopped and I went, "What was that?" Well, we hit one of the bottom cross pieces of truss and we bent it.
Oh,
And I went, "I thought you were supposed to be watching this." And he goes, "I got sidetracked." I was like, "Yeah, you think?" And so we had to go down. They had to take that piece out and put another piece in. That was, oh my God, that was a nightmare. And after that one, I did it that one year, and after we loaded it, I said, "I'm not doing the fair anymore. That's enough of that. Too damn hot out there."
it is. And I did it once, when I was fairly new full timer,
The fair,
and and um, yeah, it's like, man, this is rough. It was something small too, and some of it was inside, and some of it was outside, and I was just like, eh. I
yeah,
did
they,
I did a party out there for it was Jonah Reed and myself. We did right there during the Super Bowl, and everything was all icy, and still made my way out there, and it was for Gene Simmons, his one of his parties he was throwing
good
for the Super
old
Bowl.
Gene.
Yeah.
Everybody, I worked with him once. Everybody kept coming to me and say, "Is he really an asshole?" And I went, "No, he was. It, it's a gimmick, is what it is.
Right.
We were at Nam, and he was the keynote one morning, and it was back when he was doing the Family Jewels thing. And of course, everybody was around him. They've got the cameras and all this crap, and so they finally broke that up, and he was over there by himself. And Nam, once everything was said, I just kind of played backstage manager, nature was in the right places, and so I went over and introduced myself, and Gene, I said, "My name's Gavin," and he took his glasses off, and it was just like he just boom became this normal guy. And he goes, "Hey, Gavin, I'm Gene, and we're talking." And I said, "Yeah, I know who you are. Really, trust me." But it was nothing. I mean, we just sat back there, and just chatted. He goes, "How you liking it? What's going on? How's everything going?" And just talk, talk, talk. And then on the headphone, I hear they gave me like 2 minutes, and I said, so I told him, I said, "Well, we're about 2 minutes out." He goes, "Okay, well, give me just a minute." And he sits there, he thinks, and he puts his glasses back on, and you can see him completely change into something else. And I went, "Okay, I've got it now. It's the gimmick he's playing." And he went out, and the funniest thing he did when they introduced him, Joe Lamont introduced him. He came out of backstage. He went across, he waved at Joe, and he jumped off the end of the stage. And I'm watching the monitors backstage, and there was some girl that was Joe's assistant. She goes, "He just jumped off the stage. What do we do?" And I said, "Well, watch the monitor. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm not going to go out there and tell him." And what he did was he went out and started interviewing people. And he would go up to somebody and go, "Hey, what do you do?" And the guy would go, "I'm a music teacher." "Okay, do the students come to you? Do you go to your students?" He goes, "They, they come to me." And he goes, "I don't want to talk to you." Goes to the next person. Same thing. "I'm a music teacher." "Well, do your students come to you, or do you go to your students?" "No, no students come to me." He goes, "I don't want to talk to you either." And he went through about 4 or 5 people with this, and he finally get to a guy, and he asked the guy, "Do you go to your students, or do they come to you?" And he goes, "I go to my students." He goes, "I want to talk to you." And he goes, because he was really pushing, you got to take care of these people. And he goes, these music stores, he goes, "I don't understand them. You walk in, they've got all these neon signs up inside of it and all this crap." And he goes, "Put all that crap outside. You got to draw the attention in." He goes, "Get your band out on the parking lot. Perhaps maybe like 6 hot women that could play musical instruments, and get them to play." And he marketing wise, he really is. He's good,
Hmm.
but he was just a nice guy. And people still don't believe me to this day that he was nice, but he's pretty cool. So who was a good one for you, or who was a bad one for you?
I didn't do a lot of celebrities. I did a few. I talked to a few um, when I was doing Comic Con in New York,
Huh?
and Jack Black was really cool. Um, we didn't have a spy camera, and so we couldn't see what was going on because there were certain things that couldn't go to IMAG. at Comic-Con, and Jack Black's back there, and I go, man, we don't have a camera out front to put back here or to show back here because they didn't want any IMAG, and so Jack got all pissed off, but he was joking, but he was pretty funny. David, Stranger Things dude, played the Russian Captain America and the Marvels. I can't think of his last name, but he was pretty cool. Um, he was promoting that Violent Night movie,
Oh, okay.
which I don't know if you've seen it, but it's fairly entertaining.
That's not. It wasn't bad. I didn't think
Yeah,
it was
it was
too bad.
violent for sure.
Yeah, no doubt that it was, but I didn't think it was
Um,
too bad though.
yeah, so I mean, but probably the one of the coolest things that me and my singer George did is hang out with the drummer from Judas Priest, and then we got to hang out with the rest of the band eventually, except for Rob. For some reason, Rob would never hang out with the rest of the band. Um, Probably because he didn't drink, and so we got us VIP passes, working passes. So we were back there backstage with Rob climbing a rickety ladder to sing up in this kind of balcony area. It's more of a scaff with the electric eye banner in front of him, and he's singing behind it, and then he slowly climbs down this rickety ladder. I mean, like a aluminum ladder that they just put there. I was thinking, man, if
Yeah,
that ladder slipped, that's the end of the concert,
that's it.
end of the
Yeah,
tour. And
yeah. Everybody's holding their breath, going, "Please, God, get
yeah,
down safely."
and and we hung out, in their dressing room, and they gave us some beer and all that kind of stuff. So it was fun. They were very cool. Glenn Tipton was super cool. It's like, hey, how'd it sound out there? I was like, sounded good out front. I don't know what it sounded like for you guys on stage, but it was great out front. He's like, okay, cool. And like apparently it didn't sound that good on stage.
Didn't sound that great on
Yeah.
stage.
This is back in like the Ozfest era. I don't think they were
Oh
using
yeah,
in-ears at the time, and so I think Juice Priest is pretty late to the in-ear game. A lot of bands are from that era.
yeah. A lot of 'em, yeah, in that area, yeah, definitely. I think most of them are all pretty much deaf now. I think.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard thing to get used to. I think listen, it's like being in the studio. And if you don't have the right mix of the crowd mics, it just sounds dead and
Yeah,
uninspiring.
yeah. They I forget who it was. It was a country artist. I don't remember what it was, but he had to have his stage level was 120 dB,
Whoa, jeez.
and I went, "What?" And they go, "Yeah, he has to have 120." And I said, "He's deaf." And they said, "Yeah, pretty much." And I
Wow.
said, "Have you guys talked to him about going in here?" And he said, "No, he won't do it. So he can't get them loud enough." And I
Wow.
was like, "Wow." It's like, God.
Really? Well, they can now.
Yeah, I'm sure they
Yeah.
can now. This is way back. This is back in the back in the mid '90s, and
Uh,
in ears were just kind of showing up, and God, I mean, I could have turned off the mains, and you could have heard him just straight off the stage.
dang.
You would never had to even put him through the mains. It was ridiculous. It was just, but me as far as the people I work with, I don't know if I ran into anybody that was difficult or not.
Um, I'm trying to think if I ever ran into. I don't remember running into anybody too difficult, except for like people that need the Secret Service kind of
Yeah,
thing.
well, yeah,
That's.
that's a given though. That's a
But I mean, even I did two events in a row with Kamala Harris, like two of the AKAs with her. And the first time we did it, and it was in Florida in Orlando, and it was real easy. Just okay. They made basically a tunnel with banjo drape kind of thing, so she can get in and out, and they took the dogs around, did all the sniffing thing. But when she came to Dallas last summer, man, we had to load all the empties out, and she wouldn't even go and buy them, but they were on the other end. We still had to load all the empties out. This is just before the debate, that took Biden out. And I kind of think they knew at the time stuff was happening, so they were being extra, secure or whatever. And it turned that event into a very tough event. So
I,
just because of the Secret Service.
I think that probably the one that I don't know if what yeah, the one that stands out to me the most I think was NAMM one year. They had created a tribute bus to John Lennon. So it was this huge bus, and it was painted. It was really cool, and it inside it was like a rolling museum is what it was. And you could go in and you could see stuff that he owned and stuff like this. And of course, they had to bring Yoko Ono out to be the big, you know, introductor or whatever. And she came in for the morning session. I had to deal with her, and I thought, just kill me now. I don't. She was.
She didn't sing, did she?
No, thank God. I, you can't even call it singing. She did
Yeah.
not howl at all. I swear to God. And that's what I was thinking. The first thing I went, which is I went to one of the internal guys at NAM, and I goes, please tell me y'all don't try to get her on stage to try to sing. And he goes, no, 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 no. She's just gonna come up, say a few words, and she's done. But my God, she had 4 handlers, and that woman was just beating those poor kids to death. And this wasn't right, or that's not right, or do this, do that. And I just finally walked up. I said, you guys can deal with her. I'll let you know when she's supposed to be up. But she was quite interesting. But other than that, I don't think I've had anybody that was really just overly difficult.
No, I just did a show with an AKA show with Earth, Wind, and Fire played. I could have met them, but I didn't push it or anything. I
How'd
didn't
they
get them.
sound?
Actually pretty good. You
Did
know,
it?
I mean the guys are in their close to 70s or in their 70s.
Oh yeah,
Um, I think there's a lot of tracks in there though. Like there's a lot of extra voices going on
a
that wasn't on
lot of
stage.
backing track in there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And
I'm sure
I
there
don't know
were.
if any leads were. They might have been. If there was, it was they would sing below it. Sing a harmony below,
Mhm.
and there'd be like the main vocal singing with it. So
Okay, yeah.
I think I don't know. I'm pretty sure though. And I leaned over to the CSM on that, the sales guy, and I'm like, a lot of extra voices I'm hearing out of there. He's like, yeah,
Yep, got it covered up a little bit.
yeah. But the band was good, and they're of course the road guys that came in. They were on tour. They had 6 trucks, but they only loaded in 2. So they brought in all their backline because we thought we were gonna have to rent it and all that kind of stuff. And, they did. They were cool to work with. Sometimes some of those guys aren't the nicest because they came in a little on edge, thinking that, oh god, we're doing another one of these corporate gigs. And once they got to know us, and we had a really our lead audio guy was a roaded guy,
Mhm.
so he had everything set for him. And they're like, oh, this was easy, great, thanks guys.
Well, most of the guys that were out with us were old road guys. They just
Right.
were
Oh,
tired of being on the
this is
road.
actually a younger guy, not like the old guys.
Yeah.
That were like the old Shoko guys.
Yeah.
No, this guy was younger. He worked with all kinds of bands, and he's basically a system tech for tons of touring bands.
Oh, that's good.
So he spoke their
Yeah,
language.
I was wondering if are you seeing a lot of new young people, young
Yeah,
faces and stuff?
yeah, we are. I was thinking that wasn't going to happen, but it's starting to. It's starting to fill in a little bit.
Yeah, when I went back out now, are you still
Freelance, yeah,
yeah, you're freelancing, so you're basically uh, just you do your own thing, then you don't
yeah,
have to. Well, that's cool. You didn't
yeah.
get because I didn't think they were gonna start bringing people back.
I keep getting asked if I would come back, and my answer is always the same. I was like, no, I
You
don't want to
know,
put in that kind of time anymore.
when they brought us back as contract laborers, I said to myself, I don't know how many damn shows I did that year, but I think I did 15. I mean, I really pushed it. I pushed the limit because of the fact that we didn't do a damn thing in pretty much in 23. Actually
No,
in 21. After
yeah.
2020,
20, and
then 21 was bleh,
yeah,
and
it was about
20
18 months.
yeah, and then when 22 hit, it was like the floodgates opened, and everybody wanted to get back to it.
Yeah,
And
I got busy. Let's see, it was the end of. I got busy in that fall section of 21. I got really busy, but I was also really cheap when went back. I didn't realize what everybody else was charging.
you know what? I did the same thing, man. I went in cheap because I was like, and some of the guys going, oh, I'm gonna get this and this and that, and they go, what are you gonna get? I told them, I said, well, that's cheap. I said, well, I'm gonna price myself out of the game. I'd rather do multiples and make money than just do one or two here or there, and
Right.
that's what I did. But I was going to kill myself though, because I mean, I busted my ass off in 22, and then 23 rolled around and it just dried up. They stopped. And I don't know who I pissed off, but I went from doing I did like 15 or 16, 22 and 23 rolled around. I think I did three.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it was, and I could start to feel it anyway that, my body was saying things, and I did, I think I did True Value Hardware in Denver, and Darius Rucker played that. And after that show, I think that was about 23 hours we did on that one. And from show to finish, and I went, and I got home and I was like, nah, I think this is about it. Those days are just killing me. And I just can't, I'm too damn old. Can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely getting harder for sure, especially the long hour ones.
Yeah. Yeah. The
But
long hour ones,
I
that's,
still enjoy it, so that's
oh, I
could be worse.
enjoyed it, but it was just, I enjoyed it, but my body was just saying, no, you're going to have to start slowing this down a little bit. And, but I'd still be doing it, but it's now I've got to get back and get repaired, and then I can just sit around and be retired for the rest of my life and just do nothing. I'll go down to the gas station and drink coffee with the old guys in the morning or do shit like that, and something to do.
Well, no, you got a podcast. You got to stay
Yeah, I got
busy
a
that way.
podcast. I this was really just weird how this came about. I You know how it is. You've been there too. I know, where you be talking to somebody and you tell them what you do and you tell them what all you've done. Hey, I've been in a band, I've been through it, did yada yada, and they'll always go, "You should write a book." And I used to get that all the time. I would tell people, they go, "What do you do?" And I would tell them, "Well, how did you get to that point?" And well, we started in the bar business years ago, and it just went on and on and on. And they go, "You should write a book." And I'm thinking, I don't want to write a book. I have no intentions of writing a book. And I was talking to my cousin one day, and he is well, he's back in radio now. He worked for Motorola for almost 20 years. He did chief of police every year. He did all that stuff, but he was with Motorola and he got laid off in 20, like a bunch of us did. And so we were talking, and he was a radio guy before that. He went back into radio, and we were talking, and I was kind of helping him with some voiceover stuff. And he goes, "You should do a podcast." I was like going, "I don't know." So I started thinking about it. And so I thought I'd put some feelers out and just ask people, "What do you think?" And I got more positive replies back. People going, "I want to do it. I want to be on it. I want to come on it." And I said, "Okay." And so we tried it, and it started out, and it's kind of built from there. And and as I get into it further, I think this one's number 12. This one's either 11 or 12 now. But I wanted to talk to the people that have been in the business in one way or another. And so, and I've had a couple people on that were in the business. A friend of mine, he was a police officer for 20 some odd years. And he's just a nut job. So I have him on just because he's just a goofball. But everybody else is somewhat in the business. And, with you, I know we work together. You've been in the band, you've done all that stuff. I'm actually next week. I'm excited about this, and I don't know. I am. I did the Elks National Convention. I did that for like 16 years, 17 years, and I made a lot of friends on that one that were Elks. And there was one guy that was the grand secretary, and his name's Brian Platt. Brian and I got to be good friends, and he was elected the grand exalted ruler of the Elks this year. And Amy had texted me, and she said, "You'll never believe who's going to be the GER this year." And I said, "Well, it's got to be somebody I know because I would never be able to guess." And she said, "Brian's going to be the grand exalted ruler this year." And I went, "You're kidding me." She said, "No." So I made a video and I sent it to him and I congratulated him. And then I emailed him a couple of days later, or maybe the week later. I said, look, I know you're busy. And I said, but I said, I would love to have you on the podcast just so I could introduce you and tell everybody who you are. And he goes, I'll do it in a minute. And I went, oh, okay. And so we emailed a couple of days ago and I said, when do you want to do it? And he goes, I'm free next Tuesday. How's 10 o'clock? And I went, done. So he's going to come on.
Cool.
And then I've got another friend um, who was, do you remember Russ Martin?
Oh yeah.
Russ Martin and JD?
I don't remember JD.
JD Ryan was Russ Martin's, he was his sidekick. He was for years. They were on, when they did the ticket back in the late 80s and then all through the 90s, it was JD and Russ. JD was on the Russ Martin show. Well, I called JD out of the blue one day and I said, you want to come on and do the podcast? And he goes, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So JD's going to come on with me next Friday. And so I've just, I've got another friend of mine, the songwriter in Nashville, trying to get him to come on. I'm just, just grabbing old friends and just dragging them out. And it seems to be working okay. I'm not, and as I always forget to say, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we may get if I get to 500 viewers, I think I get a free T-shirt or something. I don't know.
Oh. Viewers? No, 500
I
subscribers,
don't,
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but I just did it because it gave me something to do. I'm bored, and I get to sit and talk to people and visit with friends I haven't talked to in a long time. So it's been kind of therapy for me in a way. So I'm enjoying it, and I get to talk to you. I get to talk to Knucklehead some and see what you guys are up to and who's still in the biz and who's out.
Right. It's well, it hasn't changed much since you left, really.
I
I mean,
when I went back and I started, we went back as general contractors, and it was a little weird at first. It's
oh, it's
like,
very weird because you really didn't know much going in.
no,
Because we didn't put the shows together like we used to.
mm-mm.
So, back when we put the shows together, we knew everything about the show. It was basically our show. And now, they have these people in the office putting the shows together or sitting at home. I don't know where they're at, but now they put together the show and they hand it off to you. And sometimes you don't get it till they pretty much did all the work, right? And you're like, so what about this and this and this? I have no idea. I didn't put the show together. You try to learn as
Exactly.
much you can, but
Yeah,
they
it
don't.
that
There isn't.
happened in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That happened in New Orleans one time. I was the we had there was a shortage of riggers, and so they flew a bunch of riggers out from Vegas. The guys came out from Vegas, and they were great guys, and they had all the truss, and they were laying all the truss out and everything. And they yelled at me, and they said, "Hey, Gavin, where are the truss bolts?" And I said, "Well, they should be in blue bags. They'll be in these blue kind of knit bags, and they should
Yeah.
be with the." Well, we don't see them, so we were digging around and digging around and digging around for them, and could not find them anymore. So I finally called the office in Dallas, and I said, "Hey," because that's where it all came from. And I said,
Right.
"Where are the truss bolts?" And they go, "Well, I don't know, let me call you back." So they called me back about 5 minutes later and said, "The truss bolts are sitting on the dock."
Oh, shit.
Which dock? And they said, "The dock here in Dallas." And I said, "Well, that's not helping me at all." And luckily, Brian Westbrook had left, and he went to work for the convention center in New Orleans.
Right.
And so I called him and I said, "Can you get me 650 truss bolts?" And he goes, "Well, yeah." And he goes, "Who do I bill it to?" And I said, "You know who to bill it to." He goes, "What do I charge him?" And I said, "I don't care. I just need the bolts. So if you want to charge him $2 a bolt, give a shit. Just give them to me.
Right.
I got to put them together." And he saved me on that one. But it was just stuff like that. Or I would send something back that I'd put damage tape on. And on the next show I'd go to, I'd get the same damn thing back with the same
With
damage
damage.
tape on.
Yeah.
Yep. Never touched it. And so,
Yeah. That's kind of that doesn't happen as much anymore. It's just.
and I don't, I don't know if they're fixing stuff back or if, in the shop or what they're doing. It was like, did did now are you still considered a production manager? Or do you have is okay? Because I see all these new titles and stuff, and I don't know who does what. That
Well, I think Big Blue calls it project managers and then production, which is really weird to me. But it's like, okay, whatever. But it's just a name, but still the same job.
yeah, I because
I call myself production manager or TD. It just depends who I'm working for and how much I'm doing.
for some reason, I was off of LinkedIn forever, and I got somehow I don't know what happened to my account, but all of a sudden I started getting all these messages from LinkedIn. I was like, well, what's going on? So I went on there. Well, it went back. I don't know because I had gone back and put, I'm out, I'm retired, I'm done, I'm not doing anything anymore, to where it put me back. I'm back at Big Blue. I'm doing this and doing that, and doing. And I was like, going, no, 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 no. And so I had to go back, and I was going to erase the whole damn thing, but I couldn't figure it out. So I just cleared it all out again, and it's kind of slowed down a little bit. But I could go on there, and they had job posts listed for things, and I'm like, what is that they're
Yeah,
wanting, or who is this person? And it was a little odd.
yeah,
So I noticed that they changed a lot of titles and stuff.
yeah. That seems to be something they like to do. They change. I mean, even the sales guy now has, there's 2 or 3 different types of salespeople, and you got to know their new acronyms. Kind of thing. I think some of the
What do you
people way up above have nothing else to
like?
do, but
What are you doing this week? What's the deal?
yeah.
Well, there for the longest time when I'd run into people that were still full time, I'd say, has the left hand figured out what the right hand's doing yet? And I'd get the same answer every time. No, they don't know yet. They haven't figured it out. And I said, okay, my opinion was they did not, but I wanted to hear it from somebody else. And most of the people that I talked to would say, no, they, they have no idea what's going on. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just kind of leave it at that. And
It's also varies from branch to branch. It's
does it?
yeah. So like you go west and the gear's better in better shape. Chicago has gears that's in pretty good shape. It's like I said, it's just branch to branch to figure out who's keeping
Did
up with it.
did Chicago did where are they working at? I know that they lost their building up there.
From last I heard, they gave away the building, stored half of it in Dallas, half of it in like in Deco's building or Expo or somebody, and now they share a building with Expo, a bigger building or something. I don't know. I didn't
Oh,
didn't pay that
okay.
much
Yeah,
attention to
yeah.
it.
I knew they had moved some stuff into the Expo building because
I
it,
think
it
they built on it or knocked down a wall or something, and now they're
there
sharing
they
something with them. I mean, Dallas is doing the same thing, but they just didn't knock down a wall. So,
send you a message here in a minute because I've got to tell you something.
ruh-roh.
Well, what's screwed? I'm not gonna. What's the big secret? When we finish, just stay with me
All
till we
right,
go because we have a couple things we have to do. But
sure.
no big deal. But anyway, back to the mess. But yeah, um, it was different, and I know that I had heard that there was a lot of people that a lot of the union guys that I were used to working with, they were all retiring now and getting out because of COVID. They were just done, and so
Yeah, definitely. It definitely it has changed. There's a lot of new people. Um, Dallas Union has gotten really good.
has it.
Yeah, which is good for Dallas.
Yeah,
Um, because it was a struggle trying to get good people out of them for years. Fort Worth used to be the better one, and
right. Yeah, Fort Worth. Fort
now it
Worth Swiss
switched.
stop. Did it?
Yeah, it switched out, so you don't only
Wow.
know who you
Okay.
get in Fort Worth. It's a lot of new people, and now they're supposedly like one big one. It's now the 128.
And they've
So
combined Dallas and Fort Worth.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, that may work out. Yeah, I always remembered. I was kind of like you said. I was always remembered that Fort Worth was always the top, and Dallas was kind of the, you just weren't quite sure what you were going to get. So
yeah,
what do you got? What do you got coming up with the band? Now the deal you guys are doing coming up is that at Reno's
yeah. Reno's
Chop
Chop
Shop?
Shop.
Okay, I thought I saw that. I was reading that I forgot I saw that somewhere the other day.
Yeah, it's August 17th with Lily Nax.
Yeah, I saw Lily Nax. I went, oh wow, I haven't seen that name in forever.
Right.
And they're still out and about. Well, that's good. Everybody's still out and about and playing and
Yeah.
doing stuff. So do you guys?
They have a different singer these days.
Do they?
Ron, the old singer, is in a band called Lowside, and I just saw them a few weeks ago at the Rail in Fort Worth. They were really good.
The rail still there?
Yeah, yeah. They're uh, in their third incarnation, I think. Maybe fourth.
Really?
I don't know.
I I saw something. Somebody posted something the other day that another club had closed down, but they didn't say who it was.
That was Tease out in Irving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Apparently they were behind their rent or something like that.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it. I think that I remember when I moved to Dallas, it was like the big ones like the Ritz Rock and Roll and that place.
So I didn't move to Dallas till end of '89, early '90, and I missed the Savvy's era. Um, I missed there was that little house out there in Fort Worth that everybody went to. Barely had electricity. It's like almost like a punk place, thrash metal kind of place. But when I came around, it was Joe's Garage, Dallas City Limits, On the
Mhm.
Rocks, the Basement, and then a couple others popped up after that. But
On
yeah,
the
we were the last band to play Joe's Garage.
Really?
Yeah, there was another night scheduled, but I think we were leaving for tour the next night or the next day or a couple days so we played I think it was the Friday night. And yeah, there's a sign somewhere. I don't know who has it, but I keep seeing it pop up online, and it shows us and then a whole nother night of different bands, but they closed that night after we played.
So you guys shut it down and
Yeah, we were the last band to play it. And then City Limits kind of closed, but we played it shortly before it closed. The Basement, I think we were within a week before it closed, or 2 weeks before it closed, and then of course we played On the Rocks, and it became The Rock in Deep Ellum. Moved locations, and then
who was in charge of On the Rocks?
uh,
Do you remember?
a guy named Ron and the guy Louis was the sound guy that kind of ran it with all the band
That's,
side of it.
I got into it with one of them one time.
Oh,
My
probably Louis.
my buddy Leo Arzon, he was the drummer for Hindenburg for the Zeppelin
Right.
tribute band, and he and I were neighbors, and we got to be good friends. And I just remember that we first met him. I said, "So what do you do?" And he was working somewhere, and he goes, "I'm playing a band." And I said, "What kind of band are you playing?" He goes, "It's called the Hindenburg, and we're a Zeppelin tribute band." And he goes, "I'm the drummer." And I said, "Well, aren't you cute?" And I said, "You're going to try to take on John Bonham." I just, that always makes me giggle. And so he goes, "Well, come out and see us sometime." So I went out and saw him one night, and they blew me away. Dude, he was amazing. And I was like, I played the drums, and I'm like going, "You suck. I don't like you anymore." And so we got to be good friends. And one time he asked me, he goes, would you mind booking us? And I said, "No, I don't mind booking you." And so I called around, I got them booked I believe it was either DCL or the Basement. I got them booked in there. And then I called On the Rocks. And I sent them the promo stuff and everything. And they go, yeah, we want to have them. I said, okay. And so we booked it and never thought nothing about it. Well, then like a few days later, somebody from On the Rocks called me and said, "Hey, your guys can't play here on that date." And I said, "What's the problem?" He goes, "Well, you're playing at DCL like a week out or 2 weeks out." So, and he goes, "Well, can't do that." And I said, "Why not?" He goes, "Well, because it's too soon. They're too close together." And I go, "Well, don't you guys cross promote?" What? A cross promote? If I said, if you've got a band playing in another club that's booked in your band later on, they could go, "Hey, be sure to come see us over at this other club, on this date. We're going to be playing there." "Oh no, we don't do that." And he goes, "You just can't." And I was like, "Really?" I said, "Come on, man. These guys, I've already told them we've got it booked," and he would not bend on it.
Yeah,
So
we had that problem with On the Rocks or The Rock. It's like, yeah, you can't play in Dallas uh, like a month ahead of time,
that's such
and
bullshit.
but you could play Fort Worth because they felt it was two different crowds. With us, it really wasn't, and we could play, the night before and still play another venue and it packed both nights, So
Yeah, and
uh,
it was
and
like
they finally let that kind of slide a little bit.
I just man, we just got into a heated argument about that. And I just kept telling him, this is just really stupid. How could you guys not cross promote each other and help each other out? I mean,
Right.
y'all are trying to do the same thing, man. Help these bands out, keep them playing, keep live music going. But you keep doing this crap. I've got a friend. She books the stuff up at Main Street Fair up in Fort Worth, and they tell they tell those people if they play there, they can't play like in the area, the Fort Worth area, for like 6 months or something.
Oh, they need to book better bands that have a better draw.
Yeah, and she went back to them and she said, "No, we're not doing that," because she books good bands and they all draw well. But she says, "I'm not doing that to my people." She said, they've got to work,
Right.
and so they I don't know what if they got it worked out, but I always thought that was just kind of goofy. And after that, I booked them a couple more times, and I just told them, I said, "Guys, I can't deal with this. This is just I'm not going to argue with these people all the time. It's ridiculous." So, but other than the thing over at Reno's, you guys got anything else coming up, or is it just
Just that one for now. We've been, looking around, and uh, a lot of the problems. I'm out of town most of October, so I think I have one weekend open, one Sunday
oh,
open. So
so you're
October's already screwed, and then our guitarist from Houston, he's got most of his weekends booked within 3 months, next 3 months or whatever it is. So yeah, it makes it a little tough. Every once in a while, though, we gigs like that, and I don't know. I'm looking to book something in November, just waiting to see. You
y'all
know,
are just like a damn dysfunctional family. Y'all can't
especially these days. Yeah.
no doubt. Especially you. I mean, because it seems to me like, I mean, I see you out there on social media. And it looks like you're working all the time. If
Uh,
I see, if I
yeah.
see you
I stopped.
somewhere,
I stopped posting as much as I used to because
'cause
I don't
I
want to let people know I'm not at home.
yeah, I know. I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. And I did see that. I did see the rig that you guys had taken up for AKA, but I didn't see who it was. And then you just told me it was AKA, and I said, okay, makes sense now.
Yeah.
Because I think that I didn't do that one. I did DST one year.
Yeah. I did that. I did it one year, but that was the year the hurricane was supposedly coming through, and it just turned into like a mist and drizzle storm. And didn't even get we didn't get any wins or nothing, and they canceled the whole show, basically shut the city down, except for the locals knew the locals that owned the bars and stuff like that. They kept it all open, so we just had a free weekend on their bill.
Just hang out at the clubs and drink and did
Pretty
nothing.
much. We
Yeah.
actually, the hotel gave us a meeting room for all of us to you know go down there, and they gave us a projector and a screen and a bin, a big bin to put a bunch of ice and drinks in, and
Hey,
they did us pretty well that weekend.
I think we did DST in Houston that year. That was, oh my God, that was just massive.
Yeah,
The room I had was huge, and I went, "How many more of these we have?" And they said, "Oh, there's one just like it on the other side of the wall." And I'm like, "God,
yeah. When I did AKA in Houston, they did. They had one of the rooms upstairs, like that big open uh, room upstairs. But I did the big one downstairs. The upstairs one was for the concert. Downstairs, I had the whole hall, the whole A through J. There was 13 delay lines. It was nuts.
yeah,
And
I
that's when
did that."
I was pretty new. I was only been full time PM for a year, and that's what Terry assigned me to before he passed away.
You did. Terry did. I thought Terry did hire you.
Yeah,
I was so sorry about that. I hated that.
yeah, it sucked.
Because you and we were together on that show when we found out, and
Right.
I showed you the text that I got, and I felt so
Yeah.
bad because he hired you, man. What it hurt all of us, man. I loved him to death.
Yeah, he was great.
man, he wasn't a boss. He was a leader.
Right.
And I really enjoyed working for him. And when all that happened, and the Bill that came in after him, Bill was a good guy too, but Bill just he didn't want to work at a desk. He and
Right.
I
Well,
talked.
it was definitely not the job he thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know.
And he and I talked about it. He said, Gavin, he goes, I'm not he goes, I haven't had a desk job in, I can't tell you how long. And I don't want one. And I don't think he was ever happy. And then they really went out on, and went out and found the best one. And they hired Aaron on that one. So don't get me started on that. But anyway, I'm going to leave that right there. But,
Yeah. With Aaron and I, it was a rough start, but we worked it out and became really close after that. So.
I think we kind of worked it out a little bit, but I was not real happy in the beginning either. So kind of, I'm just, I don't mean to be a hard ass, but just don't
It was
mess.
just, yeah, I was just trying. He was doing too much, trying to make too many changes.
Yeah, way too many, and it was just like, man, thing broke. Let's not tear it up.
Right.
It just, but everybody else, like I said, I miss everybody. I really do. We work with a lot of good people, and I still people still send me messages every once in a while and just say hi, and I'll do the same thing and call and check on people and stuff. But it was just I hated that it ended the way that it did, but it was time to go. So
I don't anybody all the people in our department. I'm trying to think if there's anybody left that's still doing it. Well, Eric Brown's still doing it. Alan Kimmett, he's still doing it.
Kimmett's still there. I thought he had left.
No, he's not. He doesn't work for Freeman. But he's still doing the same
He's
role
still
at
doing.
other
Is he?
companies, I believe. Last time I heard, I haven't heard about him in a while. And then that's it. I mean, I think that's all that's left
Yeah.
in our
Everybody.
department that's still doing that job. I mean, Willard's full time still and doing I don't know his way of overall the whole show kind of thing, or I think
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what he's doing exactly.
I
We should
yeah. I
get him
saw.
on.
Yeah. I saw he was doing. He had some weird title. I always liked Willard. I loved Willard to death. He was a
Yeah,
good guy. Willard was a good guy. Jonah Reed was a great guy. I was. Jonah was. Um, First time I worked with Jonah was in Nashville. He was one of my stagehands in Nashville, and he was the type of guy that you could say, "Hey," you could hand him something and say, "Here's what we're doing," and he would never bother you again, and it would just get done. And so we were talking one day, and he goes, "Yeah, we're getting ready to move over to Texas," and I said, where you moved to in Texas?" He goes, "We're moving up to Denton," and I said, "What are you going to Denton for?" And he goes, "Well, my wife wants to go to TWU," and I said, "Okay." Said, "Good school." I said, "Well, my cousins graduated from there." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "But I got to find work." And I said, "Don't worry about that." And I wrote down, I said, "Here," I wrote Barkley's name down, her phone number. And I said, "Call her, tell her I told you to call her, and you need to be put on the list to go to work." And he did. And he got on it and he took off. And it was like, he just, like a flash, man. That dude was just knocking it out. The next thing I know, he moved up and up through the ranks and it did a great job. I thought Jonah was a good guy. I like messing with him, but he was good, and he was another one that was gone too soon. And
right.
we had a lot that left too soon. So
Yeah,
I miss.
the last time I got to work with him, he was like the sales guy covering for a girl that was our salesperson, and she was on maternity leave,
Mhm.
and so we hung out and he took everybody out. He did it a couple times, a couple shows, and he'd take everybody out to dinner for this grand dinner of the whole
Yeah,
crew. It's always a lot of fun. And in weird towns too. We were in Pittsburgh once, and then where were we for the other one? Man, I don't even remember where we were, but he took us to one of those Brazilian steakhouses, like none of the non-chained one. Really good stuff. Of course, everybody had the meat sweats the next day.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. Everybody goes to that place, but
So,
yeah, he was a good. Here's to Jonah, man.
Yeah.
He was a good guy. I just it's I try to I think about a lot of people and see how everybody did. I see people on social media some. That's basically how I get in contact with a lot of people now is
Oh
through
yeah.
social media because when we left and they started clearing phones, I went through and had to change all of my contacts over to my email address, to my personal stuff because everything was attached to my work address, and if it was attached to that, it went away. And I didn't get all of them. I lost a lot of numbers, and so that's how I caught up with a lot of people was through social media. And I just send a message out and hope that they reply back eventually.
Right.
I'm trying to get hold of my friend Alicia right now. She was a camera operator out in California, and she used to do NAM with me all the time. And now she's the director of photography for a series that's on Netflix.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I talked to her one day, and I said, "Would you come on the podcast?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "But I'm still on site, and I won't be home uh, till like the end of June or something." Then I contacted her at the early July, and she said, "Well, I'm in Bali right now." And I was like, "Oh, you poor thing, you're in Bali. I feel so bad for you." But she's back now, and so I'm just waiting for her to give me her date. She told me she would do it, so. But it's just fun just to just try to stay in touch and keep up with everybody and see how everybody's doing. Glad everybody's still alive and trying to stay healthy anyway.
Right.
That seems to be the bitch, man. Getting older is not fun.
That and yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. I was gonna say there's something else that could could be the problem with people's health, but I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, there is. There is. We have discussed it many a times, and you got to remember, man. When you play the game early in life, you're gonna write the check for it eventually.
I was thinking something a little more recent, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no,
Yeah. Or yeah, the one thing kids need to listen to is that like when they tell you, don't work so you know, don't what's the words lift with your knees, or
Mhm.
lift with not your back kind of thing, and
Yep.
slow down and that kind of stuff, because you're gonna pay for that. Which fortunately my knees and my back are decent. Every once in a while I'll get a little twinge in my back, and hurts, get on a heating pad for a while or something in my
Yeah.
neck gets twisted or whatever. But
Heating pad. I've got some great hemp lotion that just, man, I got a shoulder that's wearing me out. And I rub that on at night, and I just makes me feel better. And I'm like, going, God, I'm getting old.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to stay healthy in some towns, I think, like I
Well,
always get a sinus infection every time I go to Vegas. Um, just gotta, and a lot of it's the mold that's grown in these hotels and shit.
oh yeah, it's just
It's
people in and out of there are just how many
no,
times?
some of the hotels you get put up in, they're just not as well taken care of as they used to be, especially like the Luxor. That place is just a dump.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's full of mold, and you basically smell it. You see the fans on the floor blowing the carpets dry and shit.
I was, yeah, I was gonna say the last time I was at the Luxor, it was pretty nice, but
Really?
that's been many years, so
Yeah.
I haven't
I
been to.
go there. I stay there once a year. I'm probably gonna be there. They haven't given us our housing yet, but I'm pretty sure that's where I'm at. Next in 2 weeks, basically. Doing Black Hat out there.
What now? What is that?
It's It used to be a hackers convention, and now it's like It is for hackers, but it's for the people who try to protect companies from hacking.
Okay.
It's kind of gone the other way. Like whoa, my computer went off. Like, there we go. It's providing my light.
I was like, he went green all of a sudden. What happened?
And my lights are kind of green. Um, no, it's they. I guess they're hired like by companies and governments and to keep hackers out. Now, because the people had the skills, the hacking skills to prevent. So it's
I
kind of
did that.
going in
I
that
did
direction.
that one time with AT&T. They had a big thing in Dallas, and I was assigned to because there were all these rooms and everything, all this stuff going on. And I got assigned to cyber crimes, is what I got assigned to. And the crap that I listened to and I saw for 3 days, it blew me away. When they went to the dark web, I went, oh my God. I mean, I'm going, you mean I can get a hooker and a kilo of blow off the dark web? And the guy goes, oh, yeah. And I said, do you have a number? Do you have somebody I can get a hold of? But it was funny because they said the search engines in the dark web don't run on IP addresses, and so they can't track your IP address. And I went, really? And they said, yeah. And they showed a map of the world, and you just see these lines and these dots all over this place. And he said, they're just pinging from one place to another. And they said, it makes it almost difficult or impossible to find these people. So I asked I asked the guy that was with the FBI, and I said, how did you catch these people? He goes, we caught them by pure accident. He goes, they made a stupid mistake, and we just happened to come across it.
Oh, wow.
And he said, we got them. But he goes, just when you think you've got them, he said, they get smarter and they go a different direction. So
there's still some people that go to that Black Hat convention that are still like hackers, and so yeah, I have to go and put VPN on my phone and my computer and make sure.
yeah.
Just,
yeah, there was a lady that
never check your bank accounts or anything.
Yeah, there was a lady there and I believe she was national security. I don't know where she was, but we were talking and she said, she goes, I can tell you how the easiest way for you to get hacked. And I said, what's that? She goes, take your phone and go into a restaurant or something that's got free internet. And she said, just jump on it. And she said, and go check your bank account or something. And she said, they'll get you every time. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, you've got to put VPN on everything if you're.
Yep.
She said, now if you're just reading something or something like that, she said, you don't have to worry about that. She said, but when you start getting into your accounts and stuff with passwords and stuff, she said they'll get you every time if you don't watch it. And so if I go and they've got open internet, I don't even get in my stuff anymore. I don't even mess with it.
Right.
My sister got hacked, and oh my God, I still feel bad for her. I don't think she's ever gonna get it straight.
What was it? Forgot what I was gonna say now. I lost that train of thought. That happens.
It's that age thing. Yeah. It's the age thing. I'm telling you. Walk in the kitchen. Go. Why did I just walk in the kitchen? I don't remember why.
Yeah, but I've been doing that since I was a teen, so that's just because you really didn't need to go in the kitchen. You're just walking for the hell of it. Sometimes.
My wife will ask me, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "I don't have a clue. No, don't even ask. I have no idea. I'm just here for the beer. That's all I'm here for. I don't even do that anymore. I don't even drink anymore. I quit everything. I just had to behave.
It happens, man. It happens.
It does. I just probably had.
I don't drink like I used to. That's for sure. Just it hurts too much the next morning.
That's I always tell the story of somebody asked me, said, what was the drunkest you think you ever got? I said, I thought I could drink with Dime Bag one night. And
Yeah.
we were at the clubhouse, Vinny's place, and we were all sitting in a circle in these big chairs, and we were all just talking. And Daryl was walking around, and he had a handle of Crown Royal. And I thought, he was going around. I was just watching him, and
what was he drinking? That's the question.
And he was drinking.
Was he?
Daryl, and I couldn't see. And I was like going, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? And I felt he smacked me in the back of the head. And I went, oh no. And he grabbed my forehead. And he goes, pull your head back. And he pulled my head back, and he took that handle and he goes, open up. And I did. And he filled me up. And then he shoved me forward. He goes, now swallow that. And I said, okay, we're good. No. Tilt your head back again. I don't know how many times we did. I know this. The venue I was running at the time, we ended up going back over there to do something. I don't know what I went over there for, but I was so hammered, I locked myself in the bathroom. and I wouldn't come out. And everybody was banging on the door saying, "You got to come out." And I'm not going because I don't like people messing with me. If I've been drinking, I don't like anybody to mess with. Just leave me alone. I'm fine. I'm not going to mess with anybody. Don't mess with me. And so they had to call my wife, and she came down there, and I hear this knocking on the door, and I went, "What?" And she goes, She goes, "Open the door." And I said, "Who is it?" She goes, "It's Tracy." And I went, "Tell me something that only I know about Tracy." And I don't remember what she told me, but all right. So I unlocked the door. So she got me in the car and she got me to the house and she said, now my wife is only what, 5'4". I'm 6'6". And I was, probably about 260 pounds at the time. And she goes, when you stand up out of the car, she goes, we're going to make a run for it, for the door. She parked at the curb in front. And I said, okay. And I got out and I put my arm around her neck and she had her arm around my waist. She said, go. And we just took off and we were just moving as fast as we could. We got through the door. I got in the living room and I crashed right in the middle of the living room floor. I said, we made it. We're done. We're good. Oh my God. I got up the next day and I was like, kill me now. Please just shoot me. And after that, I told Dime, I said, you won. Can't do it. Can't run with you. But
Yeah, the one thing I know is they do shots, and they do shots every 30, 45 minutes or so. And while everybody else, when they do those shots, are drinking beer. So they're not drinking beer. Him and his brother rarely. And I noticed that's how they roll, or how they rolled. Um, yeah, they just didn't drink like everybody else did. They did at times, but a lot of times they were more, you know, in control than you think. Although I've seen Benny get hammered several times, and he goes out. He'll like, if you're at his house, the house is full of people, and he disappears into his bedroom because he was already too fucked up.
there's a guy, a friend of mine, who knows the guy that lived down at the bottom of the hill where Benny's house was. And he was telling me this one day, and he asked me because there's a picture of me and Benny on the wall here that we were sitting on his couch. And he goes, you know Vinny? And I said, yeah. I said, knew all those guys. He goes, did you ever go to his parties? And I said, oh yeah, we've been to a few of his parties at the house. And he goes, because like my buddy lives down in the house down at the bottom of the hill down. And I went, well, if it's anything, you can tell him I'm sorry for if I made too much noise. He said, he used to tell me, he said, there'd be so much noise and shit going on. I mean, one night, you know, those mortars that you use for 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah. You drop them in the tube and they shoot them up and then they go, well, they had a whole bunch of those, but they didn't have the tube. So they were just lighting them and throwing them over the fence. And I was like going, you guys, we're going to get somebody killed. Next thing you know, the cops are banging on the door. Oh, shit, here we go. But they were cool. They just said, hey, guys, you guys got to knock it off. Quit. Don't do that anymore. And so, but it was, and Benny just liked to give me a hard time. He always liked to bust my balls. He always did. We went to his Halloween party one year and all they said was don't park in the driveway. And you remember how his driveway was just a hill that driveway
Right.
went straight up.
Yeah.
And we parked down at the bottom of the hill and walked up. Well, there was a couple of cars that were parked in the driveway, and somebody had gotten in one of the cars and I don't know, took it out of gear or something and rolled it back down the hill. And so we left, and guess who got blamed for that?
You did?
I did. I did. Because Daryl came by the bar like the next day or the day after, and he goes, hey. And I said, what are you doing? I said, first of all, you're still looking a little green because he was a Martian that year and he painted himself green.
Yeah.
He still had this green shade. I said, you still look green. And that's wearing off. Okay. He goes, why the hell did you mess with that car in the driveway? And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, you don't remember taking that car out of gear and rolling it down the driveway? And I was like, no, I don't remember any of that. And I said, no, I know I was not that drunk. I was not, I didn't do that. And he goes, yeah, you did. Somebody told me they saw you do it. And I said, nope, nobody saw me do anything. doesn't matter. He goes, you're the GOAT. You get to pay for it. And I was like, okay. So they wore me out about that forever. There was always something they were always getting on me about, but they were fun. They were fun guys. When I owned my bar, I'd get a call, and the girl that pretty much ran it for me, her name was Barb, and Barb, she was a bartender. She was a bartender at the Basement and DCL and all those too. And she would the phone would ring, and if I answered it, I'd hear this, "Hey, Gav." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Dime." So what's up? And he goes, "Set me up 12." And I said, "All right." I'd hang up. And I'd yell, "Barb." I said, "Dime just called." She goes, "How many?" I said, 12. So she would go and take 12 shot glasses and line them up on the bar, and she'd set them up, make shots and all of them. And he'd come in about 5 minutes later with this crew, and whatever was left, he just handed out to everybody in the crowd, and that's when the party started. And
Where was your bar at?
it was in Euless. It was. I hate talking about that fucking bar. It was called the Den.
Mm.
And it was on Industrial, and it was right down the street. There was Baby Dolls was right down the street.
Uh-huh.
And I used to catch hell about that, because when Baby Dolls would close down the street, well, some of the employees, I call them employees,
Yeah, right.
they would stop by my place, because I'd be there cleaning up, or and doing whatever, and they would stop by just to say hi and see what was going on, and and pay their respects and leave. And if any of y'all are buying this, I got something else I want to sell you later. But they would come by, and we'd just all hang out. But eh, that was that's another story for another lifetime, I think.
Right.
Oh my God, the things that people bring up about that is just nuts. Well, yeah, dude, it looks
Yeah,
like,
it's been about an hour and a half.
yeah, we hit the witching hour pretty much. Hey, I just want to tell you, I want to thank you for coming on, man. I really do.
Sure,
I
man.
appreciate you coming on. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're hanging in there. Again, now you guys tell them again where you guys are playing coming up.
We are at Reno's Chop Shop, Deep Ellum, August 17th, opening up for direct support for Lily Necks.
I'll go check them out. I don't know if I'll be there. I doubt I will be there. I'm still not moving much, but everybody be sure to go check them out, because I'm sure it will be worth the trip to go see those guys play again. Really, it would be. I'd love to be there, but hey, man, good luck with all your stuff, being on the road, and working with the Big Blue and hanging in there with them, and with Aska. I hope you guys keep on playing, and you guys just keep it going as well. So,
Oh, cool. It's great to be here, man. Enjoyed it.
guys, everybody, again, Mr. Keith Knight here with me, hanging out. And so, again, hey, man, Keith, thank you very much for coming on. You take care. Be safe out there, all right?
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Love you, and
All right.
you take care of yourself, okay?
Thanks, man.
All right.
Thanks for joining Epic Stage Journeys and then some. Stay well, and we'll see you down the road.